Lala Kent offered some advice to her former Vanderpump Rules co-star Raquel Leviss. 9 months after her shocking cheating scandal with Tom Sandoval was uncovered by Sandoval's girlfriend Ariana Madix, Leviss announced the launch of her new iHeart podcast titled, Rachel Goes Rogue. Kent reacted with a comment on her Instagram story. "I have a few thoughts. I'll save them for my podcast. Give me a minute though. Lauren is going rogue in Hawaii," she wrote in December 2023. On December 7, 2023, she spoke out on her Give Them Lala podcast to advise Leviss on what she should never do. "Here's what I would say to her," Kent said. "Don't look at the comments that people leave. You only think about the numbers. Because even if people are giving you a hate list, they're giving you a listen and the numbers. My advice would be don't listen. Don't read the comments, don't worry about it. Just look at the numbers." Lala Kent said Raquel Leviss did things backwards. Kent is an experienced podcast host with her popular show, Give Them Lala. As she shared her thoughts on Leviss's new venture, she promised, "I'm gonna be so true and honest in this. Let's start just the basics," Kent said. "The photo is awful. Okay. The photo is so boring, so lame, so stupid. It's her smiling. It's her smiling. Okay. By the way, she looks beautiful," Kent added of Leviss's promo photo. "But we're talking about a podcast, and girl, you were at one point in time one of the most hated people in all of America. And all you got for us with this podcast is a picture of you smiling? I would have done something so fun, like an oopsie face." Kent went on to note that fans want to see both Sandoval and Leviss take more accountability for their actions. "I'm thinking that if she went that route and was like, you know what? I'm taking ownership of what I'm doing. This podcast is gonna be about mental health. It's gonna be about women who maybe have participated in cheating scandals and where their head was at. You know, play into it a little bit," Kent said. Of the Rachel Goes Rogue name, Kent said it should be Rachel's Gone Rogue, because she's already been gone rogue. Kent went so far as to say a podcast launch at this point was a very stupid business move for Leviss. Here's why, she explained. She said time and time again she wanted to fade into the background. Since then, she has done Bethany Frankel's podcast, which was definitely a miss. And now she did not return to Vanderpump Rules. Very stupid. And then she decides to start a podcast. But why, after all of this, if this was the move you were gonna make, would you not come back to Vanderpump Rules? Kent asked. Because it would have been very different than she thinks it would have been. She showed up to the reunion. That's the scariest part. Kent added that if she had been Leviss's manager, she would have reminded her that she got through the hardest part of everything and should go back to Vanderpump Rules to have conversations and get closure before revving up a podcast. You not only get to break down your side of the scandal from all of season 10 and where your head was at, you can then break down every episode of this new season coming out, Kent noted. You know, it was the perfect storm, but you could have had yourself so teed up for this podcast and instead you bail on VPR, which is why you're a known name. It's why most of us have a known name, and you're just going to jump to the podcast. Raquel Leviss first talked about her podcast in August 2023. A Bravo spokesperson told Entertainment Tonight that Leviss would not be returning to Vanderpump Rules for season 11 and would instead focus on her mental health. That same month, she teased her podcast in an interview on Bethany Frankel's Just Be with Bethany. Leviss, who took on the brunt of the hate after being caught having an affair with her friend Maddox's man, told Frankel she believes there's an untapped market for such a topic. I really am impassioned about learning about myself and the psychology behind all of this, and I am taking the steps to start my own podcast, Leviss said. I feel like it would be a great way to share my side of the story and bring on experts that really understand the psychology behind it. Leviss added, I feel like this is the area that's untapped because nobody really wants to talk about being the other woman. And for as many people that are hurt by this affair, there's equally that many people that's been the mistress. Leviss's Rachel Goes Rogue podcast will be produced by Frankel. The first episode drops January 8, 2024. Read next. Original, Vanderpump Rules, star shares secret about iconic scene.